they feel like it. But with that, I just wanted to say thank you very much all for attending. My name is Ryan Char. It says G70 here. That's the company I work for because I'm always on Zoom meetings. But I'm a Rotarian. I'm with the Rotary Club of Honolulu Sunrise, but I'm also a District 5000 leadership member. I'm the chair of the Youth Services Committee this year under our district governor, Naomi Masuno, who's here. So welcome, Naomi. Thanks for joining us. We are super excited today to offer this free webinar, and it's a wonderful partnership and opportunity between Rotary International and Toastmasters International. Rotary, for those that of here that don't know, is a community service-based organization that was kind of founded really on the business networking side. We're over 100 years old. A lot of us are in our own businesses or leaders of our own businesses, and that's where we have our roots, kind of in our business network, business opportunity, uh, history, and that's us. Toastmasters is, also been around for quite a while. I think is almost celebrating its 100th year anniversary here, but is a educational nonprofit focused on building confidence in public speaking within the community, whether that's through business, community organizations, whatever it might be. We do have members here that are a member of both Rotary and Toastmasters here. So you'll be hearing from them in a short while here. And to give you a little bit of background about how Rotary or Toastmasters have helped them in their professional careers and their lives. Rotary has helped me tremendously in my professional career. As a leader myself in my organization, I'm always giving speeches, or I'm always running meetings, I'm always doing something. And so for our students here who are here today, I'm sure that's something that interests you. You want to be able to build your self-confidence. You want to be able to improve your public speaking. You want to be able to hold an effective meeting. You want to be able to lead a team successfully, cohesively, build that team camaraderie. That's all things that both Rotary and Toastmasters can help you with. And today's presentation, I'm sure if you've seen the flyer, is about building that self-confidence and making the right good first impression, because you can definitely make the wrong bad first impression. We want to make sure that you're not doing that in your endeavors and within your school, or as you guys head off to college, or as you guys run your community service meetings throughout your clubs. This topic and this presentation will be applicable to most everything you do in life. That's what I like to say. And so we're super excited to have you all here today. I'm happy to introduce, I already introduced Naomi Masuno, who is our district governor for Rotary. I'm happy to introduce Sherry Imamura Ryan. Sherry's down there, and she is our coordinator here for today's presentation from Toastmasters. Corey Ikeda is also another one of our presenters this morning, and you're the Youth Leadership Development chair, I guess, of Toastmasters, right, Corey?
That's part of what I do.
Part of what you do, great. And then we also have Joy Frelinger, is that right? Right, who is also going to be part of the presentation this morning from Toastmasters. From the Rotary side, we have a couple of other Rotarians. Gary, Jana, I think you're also a Rotarian, right? From Pearl Harbor. And we have Evan Tom from Kahala Sunrise, who is also a Toastmasters member, and who I'm going to introduce a little bit more here in a little bit. And then thanks for joining us, Sherry. I see about 4 students here, so thanks for joining us. If you don't mind, maybe just, and I don't want to put you on the spot just now, but we'll put you on the spot since there's just a few of you here. Why don't you just introduce us kind of with your first name and then, or full name, whatever you choose, and what school you're attending here. Go, anyone can start.
I can go first. Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor, and I'm currently a junior at Waipahu High School.
Great. Thanks, Taylor.
I'm Venus, and I go, to West Hawaii Explorations Academy.
Thanks, Venus.
I'm Lei, and I go to Kalaka'i High School, and I'm a sophomore.
Hi, Lei. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm Kahea Lani, but you guys can call me Kahea. I'm from Kailua High School, and I'm a senior.
Thanks for joining us, Kahea. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I am going to pass it off real quick here to Evan Tom from Kahala Sunrise. Like I mentioned, Evan is with Coldwell Banker, and is that right? That's right, Evan, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And he's a Rotarian and a Toastmasters here, and he's going to share with you just real briefly how both organizations have really kind of helped him in his professional career at Coldwell Banker. So thanks, Evan.
Sure. Well, I definitely appreciate it. I think that there's everything you think about real estate, a lot of it's wrong. One of the first things that I thought about was that every realtor was a really good speaker. That's wrong. But you know, at the end of the day, real estate is about building relationships, and being able to connect with people is important. So one of the clubs I joined, you network, you meet people. So Rotary, I joined, it was a networking means business with way before COVID happened. So it was right when I started. And the reason I joined Rotary was because someone just kept calling me until I said yes. Like any organizations, that's what happens. And I joined Toastmasters because I did want to be better at public speaking. I think it is an important skill set. And I also think that not only the speaking side is something you learn, but also a lot of the leadership. So any of the clubs you guys join, it's the same sort of concept, that if you want to get better at anything, you work on it. And public speaking and how you want to communicate effectively will help you not only in your professional side, but in your relationships, personal and professional, and friendships, of being able to say no, and maybe being able to say no in a way that doesn't offend people.
Thanks, Evan. It is, and I don't know how much, I don't know how much you guys know beyond, what kind of what I've said about Rotary and Toastmasters, but the kind of the community service-based connection from Rotary is our Interact clubs. So I don't know if you've heard of Interact Club before in your schools, but Interact clubs are open for high schoolers, and now we actually have them open for middle schoolers. That is one way to get involved with a partnership with Rotary. My Rotary Club sponsors Interact Club at Roosevelt High School, as well as Mid-Pacific Institute. And so both those clubs have about 30 to 40 members doing community service projects within their community and in their areas at their different schools. We've done work at other high schools as well through our Interact clubs. And that's why, I think we're all here today really is to help our youth learn how to, do leadership and practice leadership and be better leaders, be better public speakers, learn how to have that self-confidence to develop a speech, deliver a speech. And so I'm glad you guys have kind of all invested in yourselves this morning to join us here. And so with that, I do want to hand it off to Sherry and the Toastmasters to introduce the topic this morning. Is that Corey, actually?
Just a second. Yeah, we have two Sherrys. That's getting to be more and more a common name, but aloha. It's my pleasure to, at this time, introduce Toastmasters District 49's Program Quality Director, and he is in charge of the Youth Leadership Program, Corey Ikeda.
Thank you very much, Sherry. So as Sherry mentioned, I am Program Quality Director for Toastmasters District 49. District 49 covers all of Hawaii. And as Program Quality Director, I'm not only tasked with working on youth leadership programs, but also making sure that program quality throughout all of our Toastmasters clubs throughout the district is up to standard. And we provide support to all of our clubs and members so that they're getting the education that they need. We touched a little bit on what Toastmasters is, but to give a little bit more detail, Toastmasters is an international organization. It started in California, but now the headquarters is in Colorado. Worldwide, we have over 364,000 members in over 145 countries. Clubs around the world, we have over 16,200 clubs. In District 49 right now, we have just over 60 clubs, or about 63, 64 clubs. And that number fluctuates over the years as we build new clubs and as some clubs have to close for whatever reasons. But there's a lot of opportunities to be involved and get education out of Toastmasters. So Ryan was mentioning earlier that he went to visit SSFM Toastmasters. They're a Toastmasters club based out of an engineering company. Ryan works for G70, so maybe that's not the right fit for him. But with 60 something other clubs to visit, I'm sure we can find Ryan a club that'll fit. Maybe my home club, Hawaiian Dredging Toastmasters, I'm also an engineer in the construction field. So there's a good fit for everyone. But what do you get out of Toastmasters? Everyone thinks when we say Toastmasters, you know, it's a bunch of old people raising glasses, making toasts. But originally, the term Toastmaster was used to refer to the master of ceremony or mistress of ceremony. That Toastmaster term had kind of gotten phased out in favor of MC. So that's where Toastmasters comes from. We're here to help you build public speaking skills, but also leadership skills. Every club has its own club leadership. The clubs are organized into districts, which have our own leadership structure, and then also leadership at the international level. So depending on how far you want to take your communication and leadership skills, there are options available to you. And I believe Rotary is the same way, or very similar in structure. Part of Toastmasters is to maximize your potential, and you get to see where you are right now, get an evaluation, get feedback, apply that feedback, do what you're doing now better tomorrow. The environment that we provide is supportive. It's at your own pace. We can provide mentors to help you with things that you're struggling with, whether it's in communication or leadership. And all of these skills, you know, benefit you in the future in the workplace, or even in the college level, going on to, if you're doing interviews for scholarships or getting into a college, you want to be able to present yourself in a clear way, be able to express your ideas clearly so that the person who you're talking to really gets the same message that you're trying to convey. And through all of this, we're building self-confidence and self-awareness in all of our members. The unfortunate thing for a few of you as high school students, Toastmasters membership is open to those 18 and over, but Toastmasters does have a youth leadership program that we've mentioned already. And this is held at the intermediate or high school level. And it's a short program, you know, eight 1 hour or 2 hour sessions. The students have the opportunity to plan the meeting, run the meeting, present speeches, give impromptu speeches, talks. And through all of that, you learn how to control your voice, you expand your vocabulary, learn how your body speaks. Excuse me. And body language. The other members will give you feedback, how to become better, what they thought was really good. And then at the end, challenge you to, you know, become better. You know, maybe one stretch goal to really take that next step forward. Youth leadership programs are usually presented by a Toastmaster, an experienced Toastmaster. If you don't have a program already, I know we're still trying to grow the program here in District 49 in Hawaii. So reach out to us. We can start working maybe even with Rotary and Interact to make that part of the Interact program throughout the year. So there's a lot of opportunities available. For now, to kind of get us prepped for what we're going to be doing today, I'd like to welcome one of our Toastmasters members. She's been instrumental in building clubs for us. They've just chartered a humorous speaking club for the Hawaii Comedy Central. I just visited them last night. It was probably one of the most fun experiences I've had in the last so many months since this COVID thing started. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Joy Freelinger.
Good morning. And now, students, it's your turn. We're going to spend just a few minutes in talking about what makes for a good first impression. And Sherry's going to help me with doing the whiteboard, I believe. And you're going to have to wait a second while I make this fit my screen. There we go. Otherwise, I won't be able to see you all. So the first question that I have for you is, how long do you think it takes for you to make an impression on someone else? And I'm open for answers, so open your mics and blare it out for me. Tell me, how long do you think it would take? Uh-oh. Did we lose the students? Anybody? How long do you think it would
could be in a
take?
few minutes. It could be in a
Yeah,
few
I would
minutes.
say like 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay, good guess. Excellent. Sherry, how long does it take statistically? Come on.
7 seconds.
In 7 seconds, somebody makes an assessment about you. Zip like that. And once that impression is made, they start stacking up evidence to prove what they thought was true. So what you really want is to have that first 7 seconds hit somebody really positive so that they continue to collect evidence that says, hey, this is somebody really neat, right? Sorry, that's the old term, right? What do you kids say now?
Bad.
Anyway.
They say bad.
Bad? Oh, I think that one's old too, Sherry, but we'll try. Sick? Oh, okay. That's what I was just told. The question is then, how do you make a good first impression? Or how do you make a bad first impression? Let's focus on the good impression first, because that's what we all want. What do you think? What are some ways that you can do that?
With confidence and good speaking skills when you introduce yourself.
Was that Venus?
Yeah.
Okay, good answer, Venus. With confidence and good speaking skills. Let me ask you, just to dive a little bit deeper into that though, how do you show confidence? What does it look like?
I'd say looking presentable and having good like body posture. Since
Great,
someone makes an
Taylor.
assumption about you within the first 7 seconds.
Yes, good body posture and looking presentable. Taylor, I'm going to ask you to dig deeper again too. What does it mean to look presentable?
Having eye contact with the people that you're trying to captivate.
You're on mute, Taylor.
Thanks, Sherry.
Oh, sorry about that. I believe someone else was speaking though, and I don't know if anyone else
Maybe
heard
that's
that.
why.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry. Maybe have a little eye contact to captivate the audience.
Yes, eye contact. That's very, very important. Anybody have an idea why eye contact is so important?
It's to be sure that you're engaged with interacting with the person.
Yes, exactly. Only through eye contact can you tell if you are connecting to the person that you're speaking with or that is speaking to you. So that eye contact is very, very important. If you're looking down, particularly if you're looking down at your electronic device, you're not engaged with the person, and it often signals, I'm nervous, I'm not confident in myself, and I'm not really interested in this. And that's not what you want to portray. Anybody have anything else that they want to add to our list of how to show self-confidence? Was that what we were? You don't know, make a good first impression. Sorry. Well, they're both the same, right?
Hey, your age is showing, Joy. No.
I know, Sherry. Okay, guys.
Some people tell a joke, a clean joke before they start. So everybody laughs and loosens up.
Exactly. Good idea. Do you know another way to get that person engaged with you almost immediately?
Ask a question, maybe?
Yes. Excellent. Who just said that?
Venus.
Venus, 3 stars for you, or maybe 5. Good job. Ask a question, because that shows that you're interested in that person. And who's the most important person to that person? Themselves. So by asking them a question, you're saying, hey, I'm interested in you.
Evan said smile. Joy, Evan said smile.
Oh, Evan gets extra points too. Yes, Evan. You are a smiler, right? Good deal.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was going to say, anything else somebody wants to add on how to make a good first impression?
Maybe like have an icebreaker. So like find people's common interests.
I can barely hear that.
Find people's common interest.
Yes.
I'm going to Greenwest.
Find a common interest so that you have something to share. I hate to say this, but do you see how all of these things could be used for great dating skills, as well as job interview skills, as well as getting your teachers to think you're wonderful? It's true. If you can make a good first impression, you can help elevate your causes.
I have a good one, Joy.
Good.
Don't look at your electronic devices.
Yes.
Put your phone away.
Well, Sherry, do you want to move into the area of that we mentioned earlier of how would you make a bad impression?
I guess that's probably easier, Joy.
Okay. Have fun with it, guys. Students, how do you make a bad impression?
I'd say like not making eye contact, because then you're not really connecting with the person you're interacting with.
Exactly. Very good. Sherry's going away here. Using electronic devices.
That's a bad impression. No.
Yes.
Well, unless it's a hearing aid or something, you know what I mean?
Thanks, Sherry.
What? I didn't mean you.
What else?
I would say head, like with your head down and seeming nervous and not very clear with your words.
Yes. How do those nerves visually broadcast themselves to your speakers?
Maybe stuttering with your words or looking around or yeah.
Not making eye contact, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Your hands often will telegraph that I'm nervous. Not if they're shaking exactly, but if you're a guy and you're playing with the change in your pocket, or, pardon? Speak up. All right, you had your chance. I'm going to go on again. If you are shifting your weight back and forth on your feet and not standing still and steady is another way. If you're clasping your hands behind your back so that people can't see them, that often telegraphs nervousness too. So think about what your body is doing and put your feet on the ground about a foot apart, put on your power pose and go for it.
Great. I'm going to wrap that up, Joy, because we're at 10:30. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stop that share. Now, all of these things, well, I thought I was going to stop.
Wait a minute, Sherry. We got to thank the students. They were really helpful in putting this list.
Go for it, Joy. Go for it.
Yeah. Thank you all. And I hope you can all see how you can employ these things to have a better college interview, a better job interview, and maybe even a better girlfriend or a boyfriend. Thanks.
That's really true. And you know, you don't get self-confidence overnight. I'm still not self-confident a lot of the times. I was so nervous this morning and I'm thinking, why am I so nervous? But it happens. But you can usually hide your nervousness and you do all the things to make a good impression. And as time progresses, as you practice speaking more, looking at people, good eye contact, making good hand gestures and things like that, you will appear self-confident. And many, many times when you keep appearing self-confident through time, you become actually, Aussie is telling me to stop. You will actually you will actually become self-confident. It's taken many years, but it's finally happening slowly but surely. So at this time, I'll go back to Corey Ikeda and he's going to explain the exercise we're going to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sherry. So we're going to do a little bit of impromptu, and this is to help with your critical thinking skills. So think of the situation where someone comes up to you in a meeting, whether it's a networking meeting or even if you're just passing in a hall, and the question is, how's your day going? Even that one simple question can be an opportunity to make a connection, or whether you make a good first impression or a bad first impression. A lot of times people will say, my day's okay. But can you expand on that? Can you say that or provide more detail saying, well, this morning I had a meeting with our district executive committee. Then as soon as that was done, we had this great opportunity with Rotary to have this partnership between Rotary and Toastmasters. And being able to provide a little bit more information than, yeah, it's okay. But now in a real situation where someone is asking, what kind of projects are you working on in your Interact or your Rotary program? Or what kind of impact do you want to make, with your involvement in Rotary or your involvement in Interact? So what we're gonna do, Sherry has the timer screen up. So we're gonna ask maybe 2 or 3 of you, or maybe 3 or 4, you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to give a response. Try to make it like a mini speech. We'll just take any response, okay? So at 1 minute, Sherry's gonna show the green. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, Sherry's gonna show the yellow. And at 2 minutes, she's gonna show the red. And red is your signal to wrap it up, 30 seconds to wrap it up, and we'll move on to the next person. So because the group is small, originally we were gonna have the students only, but I'm making the decision, everyone is fair game. So I think the students are gonna enjoy seeing some of the Rotary people struggle with this too. So it'll be fun. Okay. First question. What matters to you and why? What matters to you and why? I'm gonna start off with a Toastmaster member. So let's hear from Evan.
Well, thank you for the question. I think that's it's definitely a question on a Saturday morning when you just woke up of the existential reason you're living in your life. But I guess I have 1 to 2 minutes to describe it, so why don't we go over it? I think at the end of the day, we go through progressions. Every one of us, when we're young, all we want to do is play. We just want to have friends, probably get hungry, and you want to eat. And as we go through those stages, that you figure out what's important or not. For a lot of us, our parents are like, go to school, get good grades, get a college degree, and then go work for 50 years and then retire. But I think for me, a lot of those things have changed. I think we live in a world now where you can do anything. Literally, you can do anything and make a career out of it. And really, it's about how to follow that passion, but not only follow that passion, but how to build it into something. So a lot of the skills you may be learning today, for me, I love business. I love talking to people. I used to not love talking to people at all, but I've been able to build a business to do it. And the difference for me in my career in real estate is you do real estate, but now I'm working on the business of real estate. But it's not ever the end goal. We all have different dreams and goals, and they change over time. Obviously, you want a family. Most people want a family, and that's typical. But we all want to give back. That's why we join organizations like the Rotary, is because you want to make the world a better place. But as you go through those progressions, you learn if those matter. You learn how important it is. And that journey, for me, is what really matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Evan. Okay, now that we've heard from one of the Rotary members, let's switch now to our students. What one thing in your community would you like to see change? What's one thing in your community that you'd like to see change? Let's go with Lay.
All right. One thing I would want to see in our community change would probably be the homeless issue, because the way I see it, every time I go somewhere, I see someone and they're struggling, and I really do feel bad. But at the same time, during this crisis, everyone is struggling. I just want that issue to kind of lighten up, because gradually I see more and more people on the streets, and it's just sad. I mean, we see people that are doing good, they're still struggling, and then there's the people on the streets, and they don't have a shelter, they don't have much food, which is why they depend on food stamps and all of that. And there's an overload of people in those kind of programs just because of income now and the pandemic. So that's one thing I would want to see change, is just the homeless issue, the financial issues of the community. And yeah.
All right, thank you, Lay. Very good responses so far. Let's see. Okay. The next question. what problem in your community, or let's say, back up a little bit. What project would you implement or want to implement in your community to make an impact? So what project in your community would you like to implement, to make an impact? And let's go with Kahea.
Sorry, I'm really nervous. So, I think a project that would be good for community is a little bit having more public housing, because you see a lot of people struggle, like how Lay said about like homelessness, and people don't do much about it. They just leave them alone, or they give their money and pass it out. But it doesn't change the fact that they're still out on the street and they're just living there. So I think the public housing, it would be a little bit more affordable for people who don't have as much as we do. I mean, we all do have jobs, and even if we're making minimum wage, we still have a way to live. But it doesn't help for people who's still on the street. And yeah, so, thank you.
Great job.
Great job. And I liked how you acknowledged that, yeah, you're nervous, but the response that you gave was still very great. And I think at 50 something seconds, they almost got that green light. So great job. Before we go on to more topics, or before we go on to more questions, I want to hear a little bit about, or we're going to do a little bit of feedback. So I know I didn't ask anyone, from the start to really think about it, but I want to hear a little bit from, I guess, some of the other members, what you thought of the speakers, and if you were in that situation, what would be going through your mind? Because I know when you're a speaker, sometimes whatever's in your mind is just scrambled, right? Because you're nervous and everything. So let's hear from Sherry Hanoa. If what would be going through your mind when you're just given that question to talk?
First of all, Kahea, she's one of my students, and I want to say she's one of the most shyest kids in my classroom. But when she is asked to speak up, she does it with heart. And you could tell that when she does respond, it's very, it's well thought out. So she won't add anything. She won't. And what she just did today was just perfect, Kahea. So guess that's my feedback about one of the speakers. So good job, Kahea. Proud of you. And you actually showed up today. So that's like a huge, huge milestone.
Thank you very much, Sherry. And you brought it up, showing up, making a good first impression. You have to show up. That's step number one. You have to show up. So nothing happens otherwise. Joy?
Yeah, let me add, Sherry, you did a great job. I really appreciate it, because what you pointed out to me was what Kahea did was very authentic, and authenticity is the key to really good communication. And that you had. It was fantastic. I loved this comment of needing to take and provide for people that don't have as much as we do. Great job. And great job, Sherry. So I just wanted to add the now I can't even say the word, but anyway.
I wanted to add for for Lay's talk. It was great to hear just the relationship or the being able to relate to what she was talking about, right? So she mentioned that you just walking down the street, we all see people on the side of the street just struggling, and that's something that I work downtown. That happens to me every day, so I immediately related to that, and that was kind of an important component of her talk there. And so I thought that was very important and very good.
I see Gary in the chat. So ability to courage, ability to show courage and speak. So very important, to recognize ability too, I think, and then that self-awareness that whether you're aware that you're nervous and what you need to do to overcome that nervousness, or the self-awareness that maybe there's something that you're not prepared for that you'll need to work on preparing. That's a big part of overcoming some of the difficulties with public speaking and leadership. You're not always gonna be one step ahead of everything. So where do you need to reinforce your own ability and skills? Let's see. Going back to some questions then. I'm guessing that through Rotary and through Interact that I guess Interact students have been doing service projects and or have been involved. So tell me about your favorite community service project so far, or something that you're working on now that you enjoy doing. So favorite service project or favorite thing you're doing now. And let's hear from Taylor.
Thank you for the question. So recently my sister and I contacted the Institute for Human Services, and they gave us a list of items they were in need of. And specifically, this was for their women and children's shelter. Sorry. And we got that list, and what we did was we created our own hygiene donation drive last year in November, and it was called the TNT Hygiene Donation Drive because my name is Taylor and my younger sister's name is Tony. And so we created this huge advertisement flyer. We tried to advertise it to majority of my friends, my classes, my parents' coworkers, and anyone that we were really in contact with. And the problem with COVID and the whole quarantine situation was that it brought so much negative impacts and consequences to many families, especially those who don't have enough money for these needed resources, and especially for things like feminine products. A lot of those cost money, and unfortunately, many of these women and children don't have access to that. So luckily, we had so much support from our family and friends that we collected over 800 hygiene donation items to give to the women and children shelter at the Institute for Human Services. So that was definitely one of the highlights of my year.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for sharing. And I liked how you had already in mind. It sounded like you're ready to go and ready to talk, and just go with the flow. That was awesome. Let's see, next. What do you enjoy about community service, or what is your reason for doing community service? And let's hear from Venus.
Well, for me, I enjoy the impact that it makes in our daily lives. We usually don't have much of an impact on people that we don't really know. We have an impact on like our close circle of family and friends and like everything that we do surrounding them. But with community work, you get to have a further outreach. You get to connect with more people, and you can sometimes see your impact go a longer ways. And it's nice to see it come together with the community and with different types of community service, such as environmental, you know that you are doing something good for the planet and you're helping a lot of people out with that. Other things such as human resources, such as like Taylor said, collecting things for the homeless shelters, that really makes an impact. And you know that every item goes to somebody who really needs it and will really appreciate it. And that just helps them out a whole bunch. And for me personally, I have scoliosis. And so I did a partnership kind of thing with Shriners, and I made some like videos and went on the news, and I talked about my experiences in trying to empower other little girls who had scoliosis. And so it just meant a lot to me that I was able to help and have such a far outreach and try to inspire other people around me.
Thank you very much for sharing, Venus. And, you know, I think that, and of course, community service is really an altruistic thing. So, you know, helping others who need the help or who can't, you know, get that for themselves, and to, you know, uplift too is really important. I'm gonna go for one more question, and because we're kind of getting close to 11 o'clock here. So this one might be a little difficult, but we'll see what the response is. What next? What next? So what's next for you? What's next for Rotary? What's next for Toastmasters? What's next for Interact? What's next? Ryan?
Thanks for picking me, Corey. No, I appreciate it. There's a lot to think about for what's next for me, and my journey here through Rotary and through community service has been a very, very long one, just like many of you high school students that were joining us today. You know, I got into community service through various different ways within high school. I was a part of a key club. I didn't have Interact back then, which is the Rotary Club's high school club. But I've always been community service minded, and that's just been who I am. And I feel like that's, you know, just a key part of my spirit, my generosity, my way of feeling that I make a difference in the world, that I actually have some self-worth myself, because I love to share my experiences and share my knowledge and just help others. That's just really just always been my goal in community service. And so joining Naomi this year as her district youth service chair has brought me to this point where I have the opportunity to offer these events to our youth through various channels. And, you know, it's been a challenge this year with COVID and doing this all virtually, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying to give these opportunities to you all as kind of our first group here. And we're going to have more. We're going to have more of these, and we're going to do more detailed kind of Toastmasters. This was kind of more of an introductory session, but we're going to do more detailed Toastmasters exercises where we get to help just dive into some of the more difficulties really with public speaking. And I applaud Kahea's participation today, because you could tell, you know, she definitely is a very shy person, but that's really what we want to help our youth with, is to build that confidence, build that opportunity to just be the best speakers they can be and lead the best meetings they can. And so that's what's next for me. I'm going to be working with Toastmasters to plan the next few seminars, and I look forward to seeing you all and more at our next event. So thanks.
Great job, Ryan. So you can see through all of the responses, everyone who spoke, there is a little bit of nervousness, I think, in everyone, especially if you're, you know, possibly sharing to a group that you don't really know everybody, you don't feel comfortable with. But at the same time, then you can pick and choose how much information you share, what you don't share, what you're comfortable talking about, what you're not. And, use that to start a conversation. And this was only 1 to 2 minutes. And usually in a conversation, you're not talking for more than that at a time, maybe 30 seconds, 20 seconds. And, you have the back and forth. So the 1 to 2 minutes is a real challenge sometimes, especially when you're thinking normal conversation. So, oh, Sherry's putting the times up. So let's see. Everyone was really great on times. The 1 minute 40, 1 minute 5.
I'm the only one that went over. I think that's a Rotarian thing.
Well, in Toastmasters, we say when you have the red light, as soon as the red light comes on, you have 30 seconds to wrap up. So you made it 2 minutes, 15 seconds. That's like perfect Toastmasters timing. And, again, think about, for those who responded to, for those who spoke, kind of think about, what was going through your mind as I was asking the question. And then when I asked you to respond, what was going through your mind? How were you feeling? And then how you'll see that change, if you're given more and more opportunities to do the same thing, to give a talk, to give a presentation, to pitch your idea or pitch your project, or even to present yourself to, a committee who might be deciding a scholarship or entry into some other organization, and even, work, part-time work, full-time work. You're throughout college, you're trying to get an internship. the internship interviews with a potential employer are really important, and sometimes that internship or that interview to get the internship is your foot in the door to maybe the company of your dreams. I personal experience, I applied at Boeing, I applied at Lockheed and Northrop. And at the time, when you think of an engineer, I was thinking, okay, this guy is going to be sitting behind a desk, pushing paper, with his calculator, pencil, not talking, doesn't need to talk to anyone, doesn't really want to talk to anyone, just put him in a closet with a piece of paper and you get answers, right? So that's really not what anybody can do anymore. You're always working, you're always collaborating. So, really start to think about, what's going on in your mind and your emotional state, I guess you can say, like whether you're nervous or whether you're comfortable, and where your comfort limit is, so that you can see the growth in yourself. Let's see, I guess we have time for other closing remarks, I guess, so I'll turn it over to Ryan.
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, we are at about the 11 o'clock mark here, and it's always, important for me when I'm running meetings. So for you guys here, the students here today, just always be punctual, always be on time, try to follow your schedule. That's very important in communication. So I am gonna, take the last few minutes here to just kind of, if there's any questions you guys have for us, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see in the next presentation. I'd like to open it up to any questions maybe right now for any of the students, or Sherry, or anyone else here. If anybody has anything.
Ryan, I'm sorry, this is Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, hi. I just want to say, so I'm a Rotarian and also Toastmaster, just like I believe you, like Evan. So I'm blessed to be into the organizations, and I just want to say that the comments that the students made were excellent. I wish some of my coworkers were just like them. To me, to be honest, if I was asked the same question, what would I like to change in my neighborhood, I would have just said, oh, I'd like to have a Daiso store. But They gave, excellent presentations. I wish I wish they could make a speech in front of my coworkers, because some of my coworkers are really bad. So anyway, I just want to say thank you. This has been a very great experience. Thank you to Joy and Sherry for especially helping us with that, and Gary for his comments. So I just want to say thank you for today.
Thanks, Gwen. All right, Gary raised his hand. Yes, Gary.
Well, I just first of all, I want to thank the students for logging on. That was the biggest. I love the eye contact of all of you on the call, because on Zoom it's easy for us to kind of look at something else. I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I've got multitasking things going on, but the way you folks kept your eye contact, I think it's very cool the way all of you took the courage to come on, because I think that's half of it, is getting you on board. What I ask is that if we do this again, that you please encourage your friends, your other students to get on board, because Rotary does this as a free service for you, and it just makes you better. I want to thank Ryan for his leadership with youth services to bring these things together. I've been on all 3 calls and part of the group, and I love the things that we are doing. And I wish all of you success, especially, where's our senior? I think we have 1 senior on board, right? Well, there you go. Okay. Well, good luck. Go find your path and keep smiling the way you are right now. How's that? Have a wonderful afternoon and a great weekend.
Thanks. Evan.
I guess I'll make a kind of similar to a lot of other people, that it's not where you start, it's where you end. And a lot of the things that you're struggling, all the things that you're thinking about, these are all parts of growing up as a person. And if you want to get far, you work and you put in the time, and you can then post on Instagram after you accomplish all those things. But a lot of the things that you do, it won't be shown. It's things that are learned for you, and those are all lessons, and this is a very important part of it. I do say that I've grown a lot since I joined Toastmasters myself, and it has helped me in my business. But congratulations, great job on joining, and to kind of seeing you guys.
Thanks, Evan. Any feedback? Thanks, Naomi. Naomi was raising her hand. Go ahead, Naomi.
Thank you. To the students, thank you so much for spending your morning with us to get a skill that you can use in the rest of your life. This is going to help you not only in the future for your careers, but right now, where you interview for scholarships, when you talk to your teachers, when you try and make a good impression with other people that you want to have in your circle of friends. This is something that will help you. And I'm so glad that you came today and shared with us some of your insight of why you are part of your community and your passion for helping other people. Because, for us as Rotarians, service above self, it makes us feel good when we can help another person. And to bring the Toastmasters here to help you with a skill, that makes us happy too, that we can bring you something that can help you. So congratulations for being here. Let us know what else we can do for you, because that is what Rotary and Toastmasters is all about. We want to help you with your leadership skills. So thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. I will just, close, and that's a great closing, but I will also close the meeting here. Just saying that, you guys are all the students here today. You're all great. Thanks for joining us. When I heard all of your speeches this morning, I can tell that you guys are all in different places. You guys all have different strengths. You guys all have different things to work on. If you ever become complacent, I guess, in public speaking, that's not a good thing. There's always something to improve on. There's always something to be better at. I find that, I was just like you before. I hated public speaking. I did not like to run meetings. Now I love it. Now I take too much time. I end up taking over the meeting at the end, trying to close it. But it is something that I'm always looking to improve on in myself. And I hope that you find it within yourselves to always find opportunities to improve on your public speaking as well. So with that, I appreciate your time and thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, we'll be having some more of these in the future because that's my what's next. And so I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully before the end of this school year. So we will see you soon. And with that, thank you all for joining us this morning. It's so weird to see applause without hearing it. So that, but thank you everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for this.
You're welcome.